Yes. There we go. I don't remember what we were doing. Oh, right. We were up to these things last time. I'm going to put on music. Last time we just listened to a bunch of Deltarune Chapter 2. Uh-oh. I just realized that my video game soundtrack, playlist has 666 songs on it. I should probably fix that.
Good fucking job.
I tried, apparently.
Phew.
You know what? This is... Wander song music is very good. Perfect number for Halloween. Definitely the intention, apparently. Not volume 1. How about volume 2, actually? Because there's a lot of good music. Wonder Song is a wonderful game, by the way. I played it about... oh gosh, over a year ago now. Heck. And if it's too loud, or if it's too loud or too low, let me know, and I can fix it.
So yeah.
But what will be nice for next season, though, is me and Upcarnus will show Sargoto the ropes. And
well, better. Apparently Fargo has been trying to play solo just so he's not completely out of the loop. And he went into arenas, the poor sap.
yeah, arenas are rough though. I do not like arena.
I still don't know why, because they're so good at it.
But I don't feel like I am. Especially when I feel like I'm not getting to use the weapons that I feel like I have the most proficiency in. Like, I can't really buy a Havoc. Because that just means that I've used up all my resources.
I mean, that's what I do.
But my alts are expensive.
Well, clearly you need to find our character.
I have a few characters.
All the characters that you play are people you buy ults for.
Yes.
Me,
exactly.
I managed to buy a G7 and still managed to go and buy a gold backpack every round. Well, not every round, but you get
not every round.
But you get the point.
I do.
Like, that's the reason why, like, even when it comes to those little details about how arenas are, like, that's the reason I read the details.
No, I know.
Because changing something by 50 costs could mean the difference between, could mean the difference between winning and losing round 1.
No, definitely. I mean, I still buy an RE45 round 1 anyway. It's just that I've tried saving even more resources by not buying, the scope and stuff for it round 1.
Gotcha. When I was buying RE45 round 1, I never bought beyond level. Never bought, I bought the level 0 build. Because it's just it has a red dot. Excuse me, red dot iron scope, iron sights. It's like, yeah, I'll work with that. And it's just I fundamentally understand why you wouldn't want to do that, because obviously having a proper sight helps, but also And this is why I've gotten to the point where I just go, fuck it. If I'm playing Lifeline, I'm doing a P2020. Because I'm not going to. That way I can afford whatever I need for the rest of the game. By
I've tried P2020 and it does not jive with me.
the iron sight on it is a bit rough to use. You kind of just have to learn, like, where its effective spot is.
I'm sure that's part of it. The other thing is that um I don't like the fact that I have to continuously click it to be able to get it to work.
Fair enough. That is fair. That's a reason why, like, that's the reason why they originally nerfed the fire rate, because they're like, well, the fire rate, it's not something that many people are able to accomplish anyway, and it's like, it's still like 6 shots a second you can go for, and I certainly hit that.
And that's fine. It's just it's not for me in terms of it.
Yeah, I just want my hammer point back. And now I get a whole entire additional season to bitch about that.
It's because you're just gonna be sad that the G7 will have a double tap, but it's in the care package.
And it's probably going to be there for a good long while, unfortunately. Which is going to make me really fucking sad.
It's probably is gonna be there for a while.
Like, the Triple Take was there for three seasons.
Yes.
What was it, 3 seasons? Yes, 3 seasons. Since the start of Fuse's season. Wait, Fuse? Hold on, I'm going to check again.
Wait, I thought you had the numbers still. My bad.
I swore I checked this earlier.
You did, because you and Hero were talking about it.
Right, no, it was only in there for 2 seasons, right? Because that's when the Triple Take was shoved in. I think it was a power that was gone for 3 seasons.
I believe so.
But okay, so 2 seasons wouldn't be too bad. But also, that's 6 months of not getting a G7, consistently. I won't even have it for arenas, which will also suck. Fuck. I'm making this worse for myself.
I'm sorry. Trying to figure out what's still dirty on this thing.
Clearly, you need to go into like a sniper position and just lay on the ground to see every little dot. Engine radiator.
I thought I got all of these.
I don't know what the swing arm is.
I know what it is. It's basically the kickstand, but like there is no kickstand? I think.
Well, yeah, they're
Now I'm unsure.
I would say like that's the only thing I could think of. Oh, I see those little dots. That
Okay. There's the swing arm.
you really should not be getting water that deep into the end, that close. Like that doesn't seem good for the engine.
No, I get you. Clean as an egg. What? Is that really a saying? Is that really a saying for people clean as an egg?
Clearly, that's an American saying because.
Hang on. I need to know this. Washing eggs.
No, but that's.
What? No.
You might want to put it in quotes.
No.
Okay,
Okay,
the
no.
first result is someone saying "clean as a head?" Question mark? Question mark? Question mark? So
For this game specifically. So
clearly, it's not an actual saying.
I guess not. That's weird. I've never heard it before either. That's why I felt like I really needed to check of like, hey, uh, is this real?
Now,
What?
just how bad this house looks. It's like, God, this is.
Oh no, definitely. Like,
If slash when we get a house, it better like if we gotta get this bad, we failed.
I mean, if it got this bad, I would have a lot of questions. Mostly for myself, though.
I
Be
mean,
like, what happened? Like, I could understand the driveway getting dirty. Like, your car gets parked in there, like,
but also,
dirt makes its way over there, that's fine.
but
But
not
the
to,
house itself,
but not even to that level. Like there is definitely some fucking crusty mud in there and whatnot, and just like clearly this it's been a few seasons, a few years since this thing has gotten any sort of attention.
which makes me think of the fact that, like, when you say I'm good at things, you're like, you're good at cleaning. It's just like, is cleaning a skill?
It is because people. I promise you, people don't know how to clean. A lot of people don't know how to clean.
Oh, I'm curious then, you all, like, is cleaning a skill to you? I am curious. Not that your feelings on it are disvalid or anything like that. I'm just curious to hear from, like, everyone if cleaning is a skill.
We know you're still there, chat. You can't
I mean,
hide.
chat's just saying that.
There,
I hadn't either until Epcarnus said so.
like, it, some can argue that cleaning can be in like there are, it, you know, it can be almost looked upon as like a soft skill in some ways, like just the idea of presentation, whatnot. Like, it's not quite. It's not like per se the most technical of skills. But people, just because it's a soft skill doesn't make it not a skill. Like communication. I mean, okay,
That is valid.
being a janitor is a different story. Uh, but I don't know. Just like I've been in enough scenarios where people clearly do not know how to clean, and it's like I find cleaning like yes, part of it is being able to focus on it, but another part of it is just simply like understanding how to go about the cleaning process to for like to so you basically you're not like fucking up the work you just did. Like I imagine there is certain order of operations you do as a janitor that you can only really learn as by just going in like, hey, okay, you don't mop the floor, you don't mop the floor first because obviously that's the last thing. Like you're going to have to walk through the floor in order to get around, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff.
I mean, if it's a mopping thing, you just have to know where to start mopping so that way you're not walking
Right,
over
but
your work.
right, and it's also the attention to detail because there are some people like myself who's like, yeah, this is clean, and then people are like, what are you talking about? I was like, what do you mean it's not clean?
I'm pretty sure I've done that to you as well.
What?
been like you clean something, it's just like, oh, this actually wasn't clean.
Yeah, exactly. Like it. Like I have an attention of detail to program, but that's a different level. That's a different set of skills. Personally, like programming doesn't like it doesn't feel like like I understand how it's a skill, but sometimes it doesn't feel like a skill to be because it's like I do it professionally. It's just like, oh, put in I make I put in words, make the compiler go burr and mostly fail on me, and then occasionally get something to work.
But it comes so naturally to you, especially for the fact that like you do a lot of numbers, which it's not
Yeah,
gonna come easily to me because it's just like numbers for me do not go burr in my brain.
yeah, and it's not just numbers. It's like understanding how to assemble an algorithm and whatnot to go and make things work. Like it, it comes naturally. Like you know, there, you know, when I came into the company, I was already, you know, I they were like, oh, you know, we would want you to get in pretty easily and whatnot. And I was in the first sprint, the first 2 week sprint I was in the company, I was already doing more work than some of the other people who've been there for years. And it's just like like that's not per se insulting them as programmers, though. Plenty of them could, you know, brush up on their skills. Um, but it's just fundamentally like it's just like, oh yes, I understand. Like most of it has just been a giant crash course, and like, okay, this is how I have to do stuff in order to make things work. It doesn't feel. It feels more like, you know, like it's kind of like how, oh, if you talk to enough IT people, they'll be like, hey, someone who's been in the industry long enough, it's like there's no reason for like coding assessments to be like, hey, you can't use Google on the on like a code assessment. And the reason why is because a lot of the time you're going to need to like you think you know how something works, but you're going to need that validation. You're going to want that quick like there's no point in reinventing the wheel most of the time. You know, like most companies, you can just go and it's like, okay, I have come up with an idea of what I want to do. Let me see if anyone else has done something similar, and go from there. You yes, there are various nuances you need to know and whatnot, and I'm not going to try to claim coding isn't a skill. That would be ask like that would be a little asinine of myself. But also, it's just like it doesn't in my brain. It just feels very like coding is not the problem. It's the fucking politicking that sucks because me and project managers don't get along. Sarkoto is the exception, not the rule.
It I know for me cleaning, it's very much like the same way how I wouldn't consider cooking to be a skill of mine, but
I mean, it is. Cooking is definitely a skill. You can't. I mean, even if like you've watched Worst Cooks in America, right?
no.
Oh gods. Clearly, I'm sure it's on Netflix. Maybe we'll see. But like, we just need to go and get something. Like, find out where we can watch episodes and just watch people who are absolutely hopeless at cooking, and just show you that yes, cooking is a skill. There's a lot of nuance to it, and these people can't follow even a fucking recipe card and can't figure out like the most basic of things. It's some like
I just I don't feel like it's a skill for me.
I don't know why. Uh,
Oh. Uh, uh I had turned the game audio a little bit lower just so that way like music could go through, but if the music's low too, I can turn that up. Now I have to. Where did this one? This was
Yeah.
the one I was using.
The 15-degree one. Everything?
Everything seems low.
Huh.
Everything's at the level I normally have it as.
Do you just have a...
Hmm. Can you check it from your computer? See how it sounds?
Yeah.
Maybe that would help me to assess what's going on.
Yeah.
Also, let me know how the music sounds in adjacent to the game, if you could.
Oh, I don't hear the music at all.
You don't hear the music at all? Oh, let me... I'll boop that up. Can you hear us just fine though?
Yeah, now I can hear the audio, I can hear us. So like, I have it at full volume, so...
Hmm.
You know?
Avcarnus might be a little bit further away from the mic, but...
Yeah. Now I'm further away, I was further away from the mic just so I can check stuff out.
Right.
But yeah, ultimately it's just like... I think...
But no, I have not seen that show.
Yeah.
For me, I just don't feel like it's a skill.
And I don't, like, I'm going to tell you it is. Cooking is a skill. You know. But I still insist that, like, yes, I believe that cleaning is a skill. Then again, like, anything that requires, I'm just trying to figure out how to phrase it. Like, I guess the thing for me is just like, I guess part of it is just like, simply like, hey, if it requires doing a lot, even if it requires doing a very repetitive task a lot of times, it's still a skill. It might be a skill just to figure out how do you keep your mind focused on it, but that's still a skill in itself. Like, you know, like, I would trust someone who, like, if I was told, hey, I need something cleaned, I would want someone who has shown, like, I would want someone who has shown signs that, yes, they are able to clean things thoroughly, efficiently, not leave, like, you know, not literally sweep stuff under the rug type stuff. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's not a traditional skill. It's not, like, it could also be a soft skill. Like, communication is a soft skill. You know, it's not a skill per se that, like, the actual labor itself is difficult. But, you know, I mean, I'm absolutely horrid at communication. At least that's what I keep on being told at all my jobs. But I would also say that organization is very much a skill that a lot of people sorely lack. Like, I get what you're saying, Primal, but it's also, maybe I just have known the wrong people all my life, but also, I don't know.
You've just known a lot of people to not be able to do those type of functionalities, I guess.
Not well.
And that makes sense. For me, it's just I've always, I guess, known how to do it, so that's why I don't consider it to be a skill.
Yeah, and part of it might be just the fact that
I don't really come
like
that far.
the other way I could kind of look at this is just like the whole. Also, hi, cat.
Hmm?
Cat on the turn to your right.
Yeet.
Cat.
I can't pet cat though.
Um.
That's sad.
Yeah. Just a.
Spray cat. Does it do something?
I actually don't know.
You don't know? I guess we're gonna fuck around and find out then.
Game over. No. It seems like the answer is.
The answer is no. Nothing happens. It's too late. I already sprayed the cat. But the cat decided that
It doesn't care.
it did not care. Soap also seems to highlight what's dirty.
Yeah. And I don't know. Another way I kind of look at it is that anything that you can like anything that it is enough to go in, any skill that you can, anything that you can do to pay the bills is can look at as a skill. But that's a very more philosophy based argument, and also one that gets into just a giant critique of capitalism and how we treat lower class workers and people who work in quote unquote low skill jobs. But that's a completely different story.
No, I get you. Which we've talked about before, so.
Yes.
Whoops.
Because, let's talk about less depressing things. How about that Facebook rebrand?
I thought we were talking about less depressing things.
That was a joke.
Uh,
Did you actually think I was going to talk about something less depressing?
yes, actually.
Yes, Juice, because Mark Zuckerberg's vision of Facebook is to go more towards quote-unquote metaverse. He's literally making the new parent company of Facebook called Meta. And it's like, wow, that's an absolutely shit name. Yeah, no, they had an entire presentation about it and using unrealistic technology that doesn't exist and whatnot. And basically, it's Mark Zuckerberg making the argument that we should all live in VR. And it's just like...
He just wants people to join him in his reality because he's a robot.
I thought it was always... I always keep on hearing... Hey, people need to decide whether he's a robot or a lizard person.
He could be a lizard person in VR world.
No, he certainly has never heard of code switching. I assume you don't know what code switching is, do you?
No.
Code switching is terminology to refer to basically speaking, using certain word terminologies even though tones and matters of speech, to go and differentiate between between contextual situations. It's mostly applied to refer to how um, people, minority people, mainly blacks, will when they're within their own company, will have certain behaviors that are very acceptable to them, but they will tend to, when having to talk to any sort of like white person, they will act completely. They will put on a very much different tone of voice, much different, behavioralisms that would appeal that you know is not going to offend, so that they don't that things don't go wrong, for lack of a better phrase. Um, there's a great movie called oh gosh, trying to remember the movie's name.
Also, that is very good, Nuki. We could just have it be a robot made by lizardmen, and he just has an identity crisis where he thinks he's a lizard when he is really just a robot.
What's the movie name I'm thinking of?
I have no idea.
It um I forgot. I want to say it's Spike Lee's the director. Uh, it's the one with the one about the telemarketers.
I don't know.
Uh, Let me see if typing it in. Spike Lee telemarketer gives me the answer. No, we're not going. Is this Spike Lee? Uh, Sorry to bother you.
That's what it's called?
That's the movie's called.
For a second, I thought you were just.
No. That's literally the name of the movie. Sorry to bother you. And it has a. It's a very interesting movie. And a lot of it talks about even though I don't know if it's directly, if I don't remember if it's directly referenced, but a large portion of it directly basically talks about the fact that the main character, he works in a telemarketing agency, and literally he he'll talk, he'll go and have to, he speaks a certain way most of the time, but the second he's on the phone talking to a person, his complete tone and context and behavioral just change, because basically, he has to become much more scripted, because he's only allowed to say certain things. He's not even allowed, he's not allowed to do anything that
Is out of script.
right. And that includes, injecting one's own personality into it. And unfortunately, the people who decide what's personality and what's just natural are the people who, don't, who, they don't quite understand generally what code switching is in the first place. It's an interesting movie. Probably worth a watch at some point, but definitely is one of those things that probably we would need to be in the right mindset for.
No, I get you.
There's a lot of things we need to do that requires the right mindset.
Like,
Getting the car loser.
yeah, we need to finish that game.
Yep. That's going to be a November goal.
Yeah, November, gonna finish up, Resident Evil 4. Gonna plan what days I'm gonna do the art streams, and,
Getting the car loser. There was another game we were talking about that we said we would need to be in the right mindset for.
yeah, because, I still want to be able to stream it. I feel like It deserves being able to have like
The attention.
the attention and like just the full playthrough of it. I know I'm not required to do like full playthroughs of things just because I've streamed it,
But
but for
also,
that I want to.
yes, and I want to too. And
And I understand it might not be everyone's cup of tea. It might be too heavy for
most
people
of
to
us,
want to
like,
join.
Argo's too heavy for us.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah, but also, like, I mean, I feel like we've been having some better days in the past couple of days. Not,
We have just.
yeah, just obviously we've been busy. Work has been still work.
And I was finishing up like Spooky Month. Obviously, this is not a spooky game. Unless you consider, like, how bad these houses to be spooky. And in
I
which
mean,
case.
it's pretty impressive. I would be more impressed with a house that looks like this than one that gets decorated with the 12-foot skeletons and whatnot.
But those are fun.
I know, but also, like,
Like,
this
if,
is true horror because it's like, this is supposed to be what you delve, like, 6 figures into. How did you treat this so badly?
like, if we were to get a house, I would want to decorate it for Halloween.
I mean, we would need to see, like, what we can do and reason.
Dirt is the real horror. That is fair.
And to be fair, we're kind of just like, half of this is just winding down.
Huh?
Half of this is just winding down, just kind of.
Yeah, this is just like winding down.
Last stream of the month.
Last stream of the month. I was hoping to originally stream on Halloween too, but getting to step away for a bit, I know will be good.
Yes, and you'll be able to dress up, and because Calvi does have a costume.
I do, and I have face paint, so I'm gonna do that.
Yep.
One of the things I was going to do this month that didn't quite happen was I was thinking about like showing off like how to do like some Halloween face painting things for on that people could like do on themselves, but
Maybe
it
next
didn't
year.
happen. But I don't know if anyone would be interested in something like that anyways.
Like, hey, yeah. Like I said, maybe that's something for next year.
Maybe. But like I said, I don't even know if anyone would be interested in that kind of thing. Such a difference in contrast with the clean and the dirty side.
Yeah.
Like, what happened to this house in particular to where all of these other houses
Are sparkling clean.
are clean, but this one is just...
So clearly, what someone did was, a la Saints Row 2, hijack a sewage truck and just spray all over this house. Have you ever played Saints Row 2?
Nope.
Have you played any Saints Row game?
Nope.
Oh wow, I'm actually kind of surprised because it's like, you know, because it seems like the type of game you would just kind of find yourself getting into.
Why is that?
I mean, it's the type of humor and whatnot. Like, it's what would happen if, like the first Saints Row game tried to take itself, you know, like was trying to go and become just a pure Grand Theft Auto clone.
Gotcha.
But Saints Row 2, starting with Saints Row 2, they kind of realized like that's probably not the route to go. They need to make their own brand, and as a result, they decided to go and go down the route of basically comedy, and from there it just gotten more and more uh, bombastic in terms of its humor and whatnot. Just
Bombastic.
yes, that's an actual word.
I believe you. It's just I do not know.
You don't know what it means.
I do not. Sorry,
Um,
I don't know a lot of words. I feel like.
high sounding, but with little meaning inflated. Like it's kind of like, and that's fine. Like I know my dictionary can be like you know, I forget sometimes to go and scale it down.
You
I
don't have to scale it
Oh
down.
no, I'm not talking about just for you. I'm talking about for like anyone. Like I forget to go and like I'm a bad person for demoing stuff because I try to talk in my using very technical knowledge, even if it's to a product team, and it's just like, oh right, you people don't understand. You don't understand what I'm saying because I'm speaking. I'm talking about technical knowledge, some stuff you don't have any. Um, like, I still have to go and um, I wouldn't even say just dumb it down, but just make it more easily digestible.
No, I get you. Because uh, when I worked technical customer service, I basically had to change how I explained certain things based on the person that was calling,
Yeah.
which is fine. And I definitely got people that like voice that they kind of felt dumb having to call in, and it's just like
No.
I do this like all day. Like I do this for 40 hours a week. I didn't get, not that I would tell them, but technically I didn't get the proper training for it because they thought that like with certain changes that we wouldn't need the proper training. That was not the case.
Yeah.
Um but I basically had to memorize like a lot of the information. So, of course, I would know it because you're calling me because I specialize in this thing. You're you're doing like banking shit. Like if you were to tell me what like you do banking wise or whatever or accounting or anything like that, it's just like I'm not going to know. You do that for a living. You do that so much more than I do like my customer service like troubleshooting tech knowledge thing, like, or like I would explain it as like I know this, but it's not like I'm gonna know how to be able to like do a lot of car things because like I'm not really a car person. I'll learn what it is I need to do for any particular car that I have, but it's not like I'm going to be able to take apart an engine and be able to like put that back together.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I say that because there had been people that would call in and would just be like, like, yeah, I do this, and I feel dumb that I even had to like call you or didn't know this off the hot top of my head. And it's just like, buddy, if you told me like what you were doing, like I would not know.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, granted, like I am fortunate enough to know how to do most things I would need to with a computer. Like, if I'm calling into IT, clearly something's wrong in my case. But also, there are people like my mother who had such an awkward relationship with technology where basically, you know, she had her husband who, even though he was just an electrical technician, he at least had enough like know how, like he did his own networking and whatnot. Like he was able to set up the networking. He was able to do stuff regards to that. My middle sister, who, you know, she definitely took, like, even if she never went to school for it, she took all the time to learn how to do stuff with the computer, you know, you know, uh, because she was part of that generation. And there's me who has the most formal training. Oh, not the most formal training, but like as close as to formal training in my family household. And she would go and so take. She would go to IT over us um, for certain things, which never made sense because it would usually come down to like like it would usually come down to um like one. I remember one time. This was back in like 2018. Um, so my father's my paternal grandmother, so my father's mother, had passed away. Um, sad moment. I'm so despondent about it. She totally didn't disown me because I said I was an atheist. Nope, not at all. Um, that's not the point of this story. Um, they, my father had bought her a laptop for the purpose of use, and one of the things that happened
Oh wait,
after.
they're little pupper marks. I'm sorry.
Aww,
They're little paw prints.
aww, that's cute.
That is cute. Sorry, I miss dogs.
I understand. Um, like what happened was that um like the computer the computer wasn't even that old, and it was just running like pretty poorly and whatnot. And my father and mother were arguing about it until they went to bed, and I was home for the weekend. And it's just like they didn't know what to do with it, and it's just like, oh, okay, like, hey, so I basically I literally took my time that night just basically saving all the files that would be relevant. I basically almost reformatted the entire did basically a system reset, and whatnot. Got all the files back. Cleaned up some other things that were just going to be inconvenient because it was Windows 10, like one of the first versions of Windows 10, so
Mm-hmm.
and, and they were like, wait, how did you even get on the computer? It's like you leave your password notebook literally right here, because they both had like notebooks that they kept all their passwords in. They're not like us who go, okay, let me try this password. No, let me try this password. No, I guess I'll just go and fucking and reset it. To be fair, they were back in the day where if you didn't have your password, you could possibly get locked out of everything. Good old AOL days.
They made good frisbees.
My mother had AOL into the late knots. Like it, I think my father finally got it fully canceled because my mother still technically was paying for it. The $12 a month, all the way up to like I want to say it was almost. I think it was literally into like 2009 or something like that, and he didn't even know about it until certain bills came up, and it's like, wait, why are you still paying for American Online? And like, there's all sorts of there's no reason to be paying for a browser anymore.
I'm sorry, she was paying for a browser still.
AOL, like, it made sense back in the '90s to pay for AOL. especially since it came with an email account, and whatnot. But like, fundamentally, is like after a while, it's just like, why would we use AOL when we can just click? Like, even Internet Explorer is better than AOL.
Oh. See, what I meant with it is the fact that they would send like the little like trial CDs through the mail to try and get you to join like AOL
Yeah,
and
I
stuff.
know. Oh, trust me. I remember those CDs popping up everywhere, especially on car windows. But no, like it
And
made
that's
sense.
what I mean. Like we used them as frisbees.
Yeah, guys.
What do
Like,
you mean, dear gods?
I mean, as long as they're not actually just chucking the disc at each other. Like,
No, we were.
oh gods, that's dangerous.
I mean, we were fine.
Yeah, there were a lot of kids that were fine with lawn darts, but there are others who weren't. For anyone who got that reference, thank you for showing your age.
What?
Lawn darts.
Lawn darts.
You lawn darts were like a thing in like the 70s and 80s that were like, you know what darts are.
Yeah.
Now imagine you're trying to have like they're not just sharp, they're just like fucking they're basically just like giant, they're like just fucking
Hang on.
lawn. Yeah.
I can't spell.
Like you'll see the Nerf ones, but that's not the like.
These.
Yes.
I assume.
Yes.
Okay.
Just imagine a dart that's large enough that it could puncture your heart.
Banned but fun.
That's literally the,
That's literally the name of a video that is coming up
how
in
to
search.
make lawn darts. Wow.
How to? Oh no! How to make lawn dart? Oh, I didn't actually read that entire thing. Oh, oh no!
We're not watching this.
We're not watching it. But also, why did somebody decide that that was okay?
I mean, it was apparently a very acceptable toy back in the 70s and 80s. I don't remember what year it was actually banned, but it was like it was banned at some point. And basically it was just like a giant fucking safety hazard. It's like, oh, you're playing lawn darts, and you're just chucking them in the air. Like I remember back
Wait, you chucked them in the air,
Er,
like whoosh?
well, not straight up. You try to like put it at an angle so that they come down and lodge themselves into the ground inside like a dartboard that you figuratively set up in the grass. I just realized you had to close captions, and
Yeah.
I wonder how many times it's had to bleep us out.
I mean, hang on, I could check. I
Does
don't
it
think
actually
it
have
has.
a? Does it have a?
Oh wait, no, it bleeps it out.
Yeah.
Giant effing safety hazard. Closed caption, you are great. Sorry, I'm still just laughing at the fact that it decided that no cursing in the stream where we definitely curse.
Yeah. But in all seriousness, like,
Okay, I'd never heard of those.
and no, we're gonna get them.
No.
But yeah, no, like,
Listen, to be fair, we were the kind of kids that threw acorns at each other for fun. Did games of Scorpion, played Bloody Knuckles, and played, like,
I mean,
shins with each
I
other.
never played Bloody Knuckles or.
Swears are illegal. To win. Or wait, are they just illegal to me?
So, well, I mean, I did I never did play Knuckles, but I did Slap for Slap, um, which is it's a less rough version of. Uh,
Wait, how's a left rough version?
Slap for Slap is that you basically hold your
Oh yeah,
yeah,
this.
yes, and you go back and forth until someone says "ow."
Exactly. Like, no, we did that too.
Yeah,
And
that's the worst we ever did.
no, we did that too, but my mom would also have to call that quits because nobody would really give up.
Yeah, no, I
So it
wouldn't
would
give up.
be like, it would get to the point where it started to get
My hand would
blisters.
be pure fucking red, and it's just like,
Yeah.
okay, sure, it it stings a little, but it's not outworthy.
I mean, it was outworthy for us, but also we were just kind of like, I'm not gonna be the one to call this quits.
Yeah. But that was slap for slap. But yeah, no, I wouldn't. But no, like my family, like we got Windows 95 computer. We literally, you know, we had dial-up internet, 28.8K internet. You know, the good old days when downloading a game, like downloading even the demo for a game, could literally be all day.
Yep, and
And the thing
if
is,
somebody needed the phone, then you couldn't finish it.
yeah, and there were times literally that like since we had multiple phones in our house, we know if we frustrated our mother enough, we might be able to go and get her off the internet so we could use the family computer by just occasionally just go poke, pick up one on the post, poke a number, put it back. Didn't have to.
Well, we never did anything to that extent. We did do something that eventually got banned in my household, but like,
Yeah. But yeah, no, we had 28.8K internet, and the thing is that at that time it did kind of make sense to have AOL. No one in the family was computer savvy. Like the most we ever had prior to that was, um, we did have an Apple II computer at one point, and also my father had a Windows 3.1 computer, Windows NT 3.1. So, real old shit.
oof.
To be fair, that was like one of the most fun computers to play on because it had like all the pre-built games in it. And
I'm trying to remember if that's the one that basically took 1.5 megabytes of memory or lower.
I don't remember. But it was a predecessor to 95. Um, I don't even think it. I don't even think it had networking capabilities at that time. It might have, but I don't know offhand. Um, but it did have some sweet games on it. I spent a lot of time on that. My father's uh, uh, Windows NT 3.1, just playing Minesweeper, and the one game where you're supposed to like divide, like divide sections off so that you like enclose these little balls. Uh, I would I would have to show you what it is. It's an interesting game. It's a challenging game, but like there was a like a lot of built-in games for some reason. But yeah, we had a Windows 95 computer. No one had any like internet knowledge. The idea of getting an email address was still very pristine back in the day because who the fuck could set up their own mail server back then? Um, and also Windows they're like, hey, you can have a kids account where you can go and make it so that they can only access certain sites, so on and so forth. Like it actually had it didn't have great parental control, but it actually had like
Parental control.
roles back in like '95 before the word entered like mainstream fucking lingo. Because like there's a lot of things that didn't get parental controls until like over a decade later. But very quickly, especially once we got like we never got a Windows 98 computer, but we did get a Windows XP computer. And once we got that Windows XP computer, and once we had it so that we finally upgraded from our 28.8 kilobytes to some form of cable, like whatever was available in like 2001. There was no reason to go and um, have to use AOL. My mother still swore by AOL, even though she was the only one who used it. And you know, they again, she refused to cancel the subscription until I was already in college. Even though she hadn't used it, even though it hadn't been used for years at that point, it's like I've seen gym memberships that have taken less time to get out of than this. But no, it was just my mother's stubbornness. But she doesn't like talk. Like she trusts IT people more than her own family, which absolutely sucks. And that's the reason why when it came to my grandmother's computer and basically making it so that it actually was palatable to use, you know, I just went, okay, go grab the password book that I knew was lying around, enter that in, get onto the computer, and just do everything without permission. It was going to be easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. And they're like, and my father knows that it's like, did you do something? It's like, yeah. And he's like, and he quietly gave thanks to me. It's like, yeah, like you two were going to get it solved because, you know, as I told you in the past, you know, when it comes to my parents, I remember infamously asking my father, you know, is it, you know, why is there a reason why you're still married to mom and you married to your wife? And he's like, it's just easier at this point, you know, because they're 67 years old at this point.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I can imagine. So yeah, that's a conversation.
Nah, that's fine. When we were growing up, it was really hard to ask my mom for like things like to be able to play video games and stuff like that, because she was taking care of all of us. She was tired and whatnot, so most of the time she was grumpy about things, especially if we were up earlier than her. My mom's not really one to wake up early, which is fine. I understand it. I'm not really one for waking up early either.
I hate waking up early, and I have to do it.
But we figured out though that mom was not great to wake up, but we knew dad was great for being able to like kind of say yes to things when he was half asleep.
Oh God.
So we would in the mornings, it was usually on the weekends, we would nudge him just gently enough to be able to ask, like, hey dad, could we play some video games while you're all sleeping? And he would say yes, and he would go back to sleep, and then we would leave him in peace. And then usually, like, my mom would get up and be like, you all didn't ask, kind of thing. It's just like, well, we asked dad, kind of thing. And then dad would vaguely remember, like, being woken up to us asking if we could play.
Yeah.
And eventually it just led to, like, okay, don't wake up dad on his day off. Like, we'll establish it the night before, kind of thing. So that way you're not having to wake up people. And a lot of the time, the reason why we would have to ask is because it would need to be set up, you know, kind of like how a lot of the game consoles were back then. You had to be able to plug it into a TV, and usually there was only one, like,
port. Well, it's one set of ports.
Yeah.
You know, usually the yellow, white, red ports.
Yeah.
for left audio, right audio, and the visual.
Hmm.
Right.
So eventually, I learned how to be able to do all of that. Uh, I actually learned to do a lot of stuff, so that way, like when my dad was away, I had a way of being able to help my mom, kind of thing. And that usually meant because I had authority essentially to know how to do it, they would just kind of come wake me up and be like, "Hey, can you come set up like the console for us?" And I would get up and I'd set it up for them and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And usually at that point, I would just stay up with them and whatnot.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I was usually also the one that, whenever my mom tried putting things together, and if she was just having one of those days where like everything was frustrating, and anytime she tried putting these things together, she never looked at the instructions until it was too late. She was already frustrated, so she wasn't looking at the directions properly. And I would usually coax her into being like, "Hey, just let me put it together. Like, just give it to me. Like, walk away. Let me put it together." And usually she would. And there are great and many things that would have gotten trashed had I not just been like, "Let me put it together. You leave this to me."
Family, right? Can't live with them, but can't live without them. At least initially.
Yeah.
Yeah, last night we were talking about the fact that, my family's household will never have another Thanksgiving again because basically all of the siblings, me and my two sisters, absolutely hate each other's guts. Um, so, excuse me, joy to the world, right?
I mean, luckily you're still alive.
Somehow.
I mean, I've done sketchy shit. I'm not in the terms of like, "Oh, hey, this is a bad thing that me and my siblings do," kind of thing. Arguably, a lot of the games, like the Scorpion and stuff like that, that we did, that was super sketchy at the time.
But it probably wasn't going to be lethal. Like, you didn't literally have your siblings try to kill you, I hope.
Mm, no, I don't believe so.
Okay,
It was just that, like,
like,
we would definitely push the boundaries of, like,
oh no, like my sister like me and my sister literally had taken sharp objects to each other at one point. Fortunately, no one got stabbed, but that didn't mean that if someone didn't get a hold of the other, that things, shit would have gone down. The quote Chris Rock.
you had a toxic home life.
Oh no, absolutely, absolutely. There is no doubt that my home life was toxic. Though arguably having a toxic home life was what helped helped me survive a middle and high school because gods, people really wanted and saw a nerd and thought, oh, let's start a fight. And some of those people really wanted to try to, I nearly got, it wasn't for me overhearing the right thing. I would have probably gotten shanked at school at one point.
That's not the button I want to push.
Uh, but yeah. Basically, just like I've heard in recent years, the school district has been has been doing a lot better. But when I was going to school, it was an absolute shit show. Like I didn't like. It's not that I didn't. It's just like, unfortunately, like it's gonna be hard to like completely avoid like shit going down, no matter what. But also like it it definitely had its fair share of problems, um, including like what in my middle school. So fun story time. So I
Is
knew
it a fun story?
it's the one I knew I got expelled.
Trying to remember which one that is.
The one my mother got jumped.
Right.
Like I said, fun story. Uh, like, um, so this was back in 2005. God, 16 years ago already. Ugh. So it was the end of the school year, 8th grade, and we were celebrating. I was part of the chess club. Shocker, right? And we were going to celebrate because I would we didn't perform that well, but we were just like, hey, let's just have a get together, just go outside, enjoy this, late spring, early summer weather, have a picnic. And my mother was one of those mothers who, whenever there was something like that, she would volunteer her time, effort. Like she would be there with the big fucking cooler to, with all of the fruit drinks to go and make sure everyone's happy. She was that mother. For better or for worse. A lot of time for worse, but sometimes it paid off. And what happened was that the area where the picnic tables were set up at, and that we were going to set up our little celebration at, was outside, like right outside the school, near where the cafeteria was. So of course we're not supposed to be outside outside without still supervision. So naturally we started in the cafeteria, and my mother came in, talking and whatnot. And the problem my mother had is that she didn't mind her own business. She was very much the type who would go and try to get involved, even where clearly she probably shouldn't. And this meant that she had no problem telling, a middle schooler her piece of, giving a middle schooler her peace of mind. This was also a problem. This is a problem because, like, when it came to how things was, like, she would definitely, like, in this case, there's this girl, I remember her first name was Amanda, but I don't remember her last name, and her two sisters, and they were all little shits. I mean, a lot of kids are little shits, but they were definitely the troublemaking type of little shits. And like they were loitering after school and whatnot, and my mother, instead of just minding her own business, was like, it's like, hey, you can't be doing this, blah blah blah, whatever. Shouldn't be doing it. Fine then. Eventually we needed to go, and we were about to move outside. And what happened was that, because I was, young, and even if I wasn't the most fit, I still was arguably more fit than my mother back in my, 8th grade days. I was picking up the core from one end, and I was willing to walk backwards so that I can, because, and basically lead the path. Now, what happened was, the doors between the hallway right outside the cafeteria and the outside were just a single set of doors, not double doors, just a single set. So pretty narrow. And it was basically like, it had like it was kind of like one of those heater rooms, like one of the like gaps that a lot of buildings have. Like, you know, you get in, you can go and like wipe down your feet and whatnot. You know what I'm trying to say, right? And as we were about to actually like get out, like I was already outside. My mother was in the heater room, basically still carrying her side, and one of the girls, I think it was Amanda herself, basically reached over my mother's right shoulder and was about to grab her by the face from behind, do a sneak attack. Me, uh, even being the big nerd I wasn't going to accept that. Like, I had problems with my mother, but yeah, that's my problem. That's not like. And what I literally did was basically drop my side of the cooler, basically shove my mother aside, and more or less, and quickly, started, you know, responded to the attempted attack on my mother, because fuck that. Um, there was a couple problems in this. First of all, the assistant principals and principal had not left for the day, and because it was after school, I got to joy, and this was literally the last week of school. I got the joy of having all three of them tend to my fight. Um, I don't remember what happened to the girl. I think she was I think she was suspended. But the problem with also for me was that I had a tendency. I didn't start fights, but I would finish.
Listen, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Continue your story.
Clearly not a safety hazard.
No, it's fine. I got metal bones. Don't worry about it.
Are you saying you're a robot?
Yes.
Okay, Pathfinder. um, the thing is that I had been suspended, like because I wouldn't start fights, but I would finish them. And of course, like most schools at the time, they had a zero tolerance policy, and I had already been suspended for 16 days that year. 1 day in school suspension and 15 days out of school suspension over um, for everything I've done. Mostly it was just literally fighting. Though literally, there were a couple of people I actually had sent to the hospital that year because I unfortunately, after fighting enough, you start to hone your craft a little too well. I mean, literally, the one of the times I sent someone to the hospital, like I stood. Oh yeah, I mean, well, one of the times I got suspended was literally like I was in my Spanish class and the kid, like I don't know what the whole entire argument was about, but it's like the kid stood up and walked over to me. Oh, I'm
Jesus.
yeah. That was
Ah.
yeah. That's definitely. I've heard those stories, but I've never had ever, like, I never had an incident where it was a one-way fight and I got in trouble. Like, if there was a fight, there was a fight. I made sure of it, for better or for worse.
If there was a fight, you won it, basically.
Oh, I wouldn't say per se always won it, but I made sure that they weren't going to just, get their way with me. And as a result, like I said, the one I sent a guy to the hospital, like he stood up in the middle of the class and was ready, ready to start fighting. Like, he was walking towards me. I stood up to, stare him down. He shoved me, and it did go and send me backwards onto my ass, because I wasn't actually prepared for him. But I basically did, if it was Street Fighter, it was basically a wake-up attack where I just went and did a haymaker straight to his nose, and punched his glasses so hard into his nose that it caused stitches. Um, and that's the thing. Like, we both got suspended, even though he's the one who started the fight because, uh, and it's just like the only time I ever got into a fight where I was the only one who was suspended, was in high school because the person I got in a fight with was unfortunately the nephew of the principal, and he was a star varsity baseball pitcher. So naturally, they couldn't get him. He couldn't get suspended because he needed to be available for the team. Yeah. Um, I don't even know if he graduated high school. He was already falling behind in grades. That's how bad he was doing. But they did everything they could to keep him on.
To get him to pass, kind of thing.
Well, to keep him on the team and whatnot. Like there were policies like you had to maintain a certain GPA and whatnot in order to maintain on sports teams. But yeah, no, that's not like obviously those rules only apply to to the lesser beings, as you know lesser beings being basically anyone who wasn't rich and connected, myself included. Yes, basically. I mean, it's just like modern policing, right? Oh, sorry, that was a little too real. um but in all seriousness, yeah, like if I hadn't, like there was little, like if I hadn't unfortunately had the kind of rough upbringing I did at home, like I would have had it at school anyway, and unfortunately, I would have had gotten stuck in fights that I wouldn't have been able to defend myself. And the reason why I was able to defend myself is because I had to figure out how to defend myself from two sisters who were 6 and 13 years older than me, respectively. It's like practicing the boss in hard mode and then getting the normal fight. uh, yeah.
I was homeschooled, so while I did not have to basically adhere to those things,
You know them.
I know of them for one. And second, like, it. It's not like things like that didn't apply at home.
Yeah. Like, as much as your parents refute, like most parents will never say it, but they do have a favorite child. But just be honest, like, and sometimes it's for good reasons, sometimes it's for bad reasons. I know I'm my parents' favorite child because I'm the only one who actually got their life together in a reasonable time frame. And didn't go in like I got out of the house when I was 20 years old, and they were fucking happy for that. Well, no, sorry, got out of the household and maintain my status out of the household. Like I would sleep on the couch occasionally just to visit the family, but that's it. Like, I've never had to go, hey, I need to move back in like my oldest sister did. Or, I never fucked up my college because I didn't go and fail every class besides horseback riding like my eldest sister did. That's still
That makes me feel like I've fucked up somewhere, because I definitely stayed with my parents before coming here, though.
Well, no, there's nothing wrong with saying your parents, but the reason why my sisters had to stay with the parents is not because they. It's not because life happened to them. It's because, like, with my oldest sister, she exploited the generosity of my parents, as I talked to you before. Like, she would, if she would get in a pickle, she would come home and say, "Hey, I need help," even though it was her own doing, and basically she had no one to blame but herself about why everything was going as poorly as it was. And my middle sister, like, she got stuck because she had the opportunity to go to college and, you know, like try to get out, even though she didn't enjoy being at home, but she decided to fuck around too much, and you know, it took, you know, like she eventually got her associates, but it took her nearly 8 years.
I mean, I don't even have that.
Right, but the again, it became. It's not that like it's. Not, I'm not trying to disparage the fact that like the problem isn't the getting an associate. Like if you get associates, you know that's great. If you don't have an associates, that's fine. Like there's no. The problem isn't, oh, you know what education level do you have? It's why like she decided it took her 8 years to finally decide. Oh, maybe I actually should try to go and get out of here, even though she absolutely hated the situation and refused to change it until she was about 28 years old. Like she basically she had her choices and she fucked them up until basically I got out of the household and she kind of saw what freedom I had and went, oh, maybe I should go, Emily, go for that. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
I'm not like if you're in a pickle, like if like especially during this pandemic, like a lot of people moved back with their parents during this pandemic because shit got real, you know. Rent like, you know, if they couldn't afford rent, they had to go, you know, they had to find somewhere to stay and, you know, this is a perfect time to go and consider like, you know, in most cultures, multi-generational you know, households is commonplace, not the abnormal. But
Yeah.
but also you can't complain about it being you can't complain about being at home if the only reason why you're at home is because you decided to deliberately fuck up your life choices. Like if you're going to like my sister, the reason why it took her 8 years to get an associate's degree, which is normally a 2 year degree, is because she would keep on skipping classes and she would keep on doing all sorts of things. And there was probably some underlying issues at hand also, but clearly she wasn't getting treatment for those either.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the situation with your ex, where, you know, he was supposed to have, you know, renew his glasses prescription and whatnot. And, you know, he could have just, you know, admit, hey, maybe I'm legally blind, and just what use that to go and, you know, real take advantage. Well, not take advantage. Take advantage implies like you
Exploiting, but
yes, but you know, be able to utilize the fact that hey, I have a medical condition, and I can make it easier for everyone around me if I acknowledge that I have this medical condition. It's not that much different, honestly. Like, I know it's never easy to admit it, but also, the, you know, you, you know, admitting that something is like, is one thing if you try and fail, you know, are failing, but if you're just, you know, in the case of my sister, she's skipped classes, she would, you know, lie to the parents, just like my eldest sister and whatnot, and just like, hey, you know, it. That's the reason why she couldn't get out because she just refused to properly, you know, um, take care of what she needed to get done in her life to accomplish what she hoped for. You know, oddly enough, like even though like at 28, that's when she decided that she was going to finally, you know, start aiming to get out of the household, um, and though you know even then, but because of the choices she had made, she wasn't even able to get out of the household until like literally I think 2019. So um, when she was 35, because she had made like getting a job when you fucked up your educational set, you know, like associates first of all doesn't get you far in today's modern economy, which is bullshit. Don't get me wrong, but like she could have gone for a 4-year degree. She could have done a lot of stuff, but again, she fucked up her educational prospects because of what she was doing when she was younger. And you know, eventually she got into a data analysis job, which she didn't let her boss know that her little brother was helping her do the mathematics to help her do the data analysis. Because I was that little brother. Um, and then once she couldn't really ask for help anymore, and once she one former fiance later, one a lot of things later,
Yeah.
she eventually found a boyfriend who was willing to let her move in. Also, she got a job in Boston, which is the only reason why I'm always going to be a little wary of stepping into Boston. Not that I ever think I'm going to run into her. Just if we by some off chance we do, it's not going to end pretty.
No, I get you. I mean, there's part of me that's a little like thinks about that in terms of Thanksgiving. Like,
You're going home.
mm-hmm.
You're right, and
Like, yeah, I'll get to see everyone, but yeah, there's a chance I'm going to get to see everyone.
yes, and that's the thing. Yeah, but
Which is the unfortunate thing of a small town, but also, like, it's not like you could just ask everyone that you don't, or that has wronged you and no longer on good terms with anymore to just up and leave. Like, that's not realistic.
yeah, I mean, unfortunately, the way that a lot of the small towns are designed is, they don't want people to leave because they would rather have that young blood and, for lack of a better phrase, kind of trap them in.
Which post is it talking about?
Well, that one, it's one of the two. Okay, in a single post.
There we go. Just watching the house get all cleaned up.
I mean, you can't see it.
Can't see the back, but
I wish you could like get a 360.
I wish I could too. That would be nice.
Like, just be able to like get a 360 view, have a slow down, speed up, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. What can I buy?
Those are stylings. Those are just I mean, you might want stylings, but
I don't know what I do with stylings though.
just look pretty.
I guess.
You probably want equipment and the power washers and whatnot.
Let's see. Spraying 0 degrees nozzles that increases the area of effect while maintaining maximum pressure.
Which means it's just a larger, like how you have that that thing to go and get the nooks and crannies.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can have that 0 degrees, but it hit a larger radius. So
Maybe
it would.
I'll give it a try.
Yeah, I mean you have a lot of money. You should buy a lot more things.
Apparently, there's an upgraded soap nozzle that goes with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Power.
these. This one's $2,000. Jeezums.
Well, you can go and buy that.
Yeah, at least buy this, and that's most of my monies.
And now you can go and go you can upgrade. You can get attachments for that.
Hmm?
You can go and get attachments for that in the equipment shop. Like you have the turbo nozzle and you have the short extension. You understand what I'm saying?
I do. Dang it, I don't have enough. Now I don't have enough. Now I have regrets.
Well, you just buy them when you're doing your next job.
Yeah, I was just hoping that I would have enough now. What are this? Unique cleaning opportunities? Sure. Let's see what this is about. Am I not allowed to? I don't think I'm allowed to change it.
Yeah, you're only allowed the.
I'm only allowed what it shows me.
Just why not?
Sure. Why not? We could be on Mars somehow with water.
You don't even get money for this.
Do I not?
Nah.
Thought I did. Oh, it does a swirly thing.
Right. Like I said, it's good for getting nooks and crannies, but it's not exactly great for like, trying to get precision clean per se.
Not entirely. What is the point of cleaning this on Mars, actually?
The main reason why, I mean, to be fair, the main thing that you would need to clean of a rover is not actually
water.
Well, it's not the rover itself. So when we last sent a rover to Mars, one of the things that it was powered by solar panels, and the main thing was like, oh, we were thinking it's going to last like 90 days because of, we were expecting the dust in Mars to go and eventually clog up the solar panels.
Yeah.
To prevent. The one thing that no one took in, when it landed, they realized, wait, the solar winds, because Mars doesn't have as, as concrete of a atmosphere as we do. The solar winds that were hitting Mars was actually cleaning the solar panels, and I think like a thing that the rover was only expected to last like 3 months, and it lasts like years as a result.
Yeah.
And then some people decided to take that at coincidence and make very depressing comics out of it. Basically, what would the robot be thinking, as it.
Oh no, I saw them. I saw them all.
Yeah, it's like, God damn it! Can we just not have some nice things? I know the answer is no. We're not allowed to have nice things.
I mean, we're allowed to have nice things. Just sometimes the brain worms just get in there in terms of, I have thought about this thing and now I need to either write about it or just
express some sort of creative measure towards it.
Yeah, basically. It's kind of like how when it stopped working, like, they sang it like happy birthday and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think a fake robot feels sometimes. Like, I get they're supposed to be like inanimate objects and stuff like that, but it's just like, I'm gonna personify this, I guess.
Yeah. And unfortunately, this is one of those cases where it's like, I get why you're personifying it, but also, please don't. Like, I don't try to personify my application. like I don't try to refer to my applications as my children or something like that, because that gives it like that just turns something that's already depressing into something that's even more depressing.
Why does that make it more depressing for you?
Because I can go in like, when I say more depressing, like I if I say especially when applications I've had a much larger influence on, like at prior jobs, like if I say, for example, I worked at a company called Canary Connect, so I've talked about once, twice, or 1,000 times already on stream. Um, if I referred to that application as my baby, the fact that I haven't worked on it in 5 years, and based on everything, it seems like like the whole entire company is just an entire shell of itself, because people fucked around and found out and burned 100 million dollars of vulture capital funding to the ground, basically. um like, by saying it's my baby, because I did so much work and so hard of work to get it to an even reasonable state. um like that would imply, like, I by leaving the company of my own volition for the most part, like I was abandoning it, and like that, basically everything that's happened, like they basically ruined it, and so on and so forth. Like that's what I mean by uh anthropomorphizing you know my work, because it gives implications that, like, that are uncomfortable. Does that make sense?
It does. And I can understand why it would be that way for what you do. I just know that it's probably not going to be the case for,
Everyone.
yeah. Because I mean, like, comics are specifically meant to have that personification of sorts.
Yes, and when it comes to a creative medium, it's hard to separate art and artists. As much as we've been trying the last few weeks because of a certain famous comedian.
Of what?
I said, like, hey, we've been, the whole entire separation of art and artists is, and it said, uh, uh, it's very hard to separate the art from the artist, despite how hard we've been trying in the past few weeks because of a certain comedian.
No, I getcha. And for me, like, they're in those kinds of things. It's just like there's not really a separation.
In this, but should we just drop it? Just like bring it up, the actual name, because I'm sure anyone who's listening is understanding we're referring to Dave Chappelle right now. Like, the true Hollywood stories with Charlie Murphy are some of the funniest skits still I can ever, in some of the most quotable skits ever. But also, Dave Chappelle has shown his full ass and shown that he's a shitty human being. He says he's on Team Turf, and wonders why transgender people are not happy with him. Talks about his beloved transgender friend while misgendering said friend. It's like, you wonder why people are not happy with you?
Part of me wonders if he actually is so emotionally oblivious to it. Not that that has any justification for it whatsoever. Just that, like,
well, here's the thing with Dave Chappelle, is that he, like, he did the Chappelle Show back for it was for what, HBO, if I remember correctly, originally. And basically, like, they were offering him, like, $50 million or something absolutely ridiculous to extend his contract for a couple more seasons. And basically, when he was going, like, he felt like the story goes that he basically felt like more or less that some white person laughed at one of his jokes a little too hard, and he started having doubts about, you know, who is his comedy hitting. Is he actually just becoming a corporate show or whatnot? Like, he was having a very, you know, he was very self-conscious and walked away from life-changing money because he was just worried that he was selling his soul. Uh, and like, this is well documented. This is not like something that he's made up post factum. This is something like for 10 years or so, he basically just flew completely under the radar because he didn't want to get back into comedy in worries that that's what he's going to go back to, like that's what was going to happen. But Netflix then offers him $60 million for like 5 comedy specials. Note, if you want to see how, like, you wouldn't realize how fucking ridiculous that is. For Bo Burnham doing Inside, he got $6 million for that. And Bo didn't even do it for an audience, so he didn't even have ticket sales. You get the point. It's just like, it's just fundamental. Like, it's one thing to go and, like, shocking humor is not new. It's not like, a lot of comedians that I love and respect had very shocking humor. George Carlin, Robin Williams, even Richard Pryor. And the thing is that there were certain comedians who really were, top of their art at the time, who admit that some of their earlier works still hold up very well. Eddie Murphy is the key, the key person, and who, one of the key people who admits, like, hey, my work from the, like, 80s and 90s, I can still cringe at that. I think that's literally a quote from Eddie Murphy when he talks about his HBO comedy special Raw. The award-winning, comedy special. But the problem is that you then get basically the Andrew Dice Clays of the world, who are just, they appeal to a very, they punch down, they appeal to people's worst instincts, and unfortunately, like, it's hard to, in a modern, like, Andrew Dice Clay fell out of favor because, like, it was very clear that he was punching down and a very defenseless people. And the problem is that in the modern age, it's very easy for people to be convinced that, like, when we say Dave Chappelle is punching down, he's, people will go, well, how do you say that they're punching down? It's like, how do you not say it's not punching down? Like, do you not understand, like just because there's been progress in various human rights movements doesn't mean it's not punching down. And it's just like, so yeah, I did not mean for this to get as real as it just did, but I've been, as soon as this mini saga has broken. That's been on my mind for a hot minute, and it's just so fucking annoying when I see his name on Twitter trending now. It's like, oh, he's just now playing into the shittiness. He's, you know, oh, and whatnot. You know, I showed Calvi the latest response, quote unquote, response to it, and it's just like just being an absolute shitlord.
I just wish people were better sometimes, and not everyone is going to be. And I know that that's just, I can't change people. And ultimately, I don't really expect to change people. I just hope people have more decency for each other than a lot of people do. And the last presidency showed a lot of that. And with me being who I am in pretty much every aspect, like
Female, partly Hispanic, you know, uh, you know, not heterosexual, you know, everything basically.
in a small town that really liked our last president.
Yeah.
And I'll never understand either how some of my sisters enjoyed who our last president was, knowing who they are. I don't know what this mystery hatch is at this point.
I feel like there is somewhere just like part of me wonders if it's like
It's worth a shot.
Okay.
Like
It's Mystery Hatch, okay? Is it on the like roof? Like, I know you. Can you not do the?
I can, but with the way that this place is,
it's very hard to see.
It's very hard to see. It's just not showing up for me. Which is why I've just been kind of like...
We go and look it up just so that you're able to complete
Because
this.
it says 88% complete so far. Which tells me that what I'm missing is a fairly large chunk. Oh. Why is there a gnome here?
Is it a Half-Life reference?
I don't know. I feel like it is, though.
I mean, like, obviously garden gnomes exist, but also, like, you know, it just looks like the gnome from, like, Half-Life and whatnot. You know which one I'm referring to. Okay, you apparently can't.
No, it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine. You know what? I actually shouldn't be rolling it this way. I should be rolling it this way. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Listen, it's fine. Don't worry about it. He's just having a little slide.
Are you proud of yourself?
Yes. Robot has a friend.
It's going to actually show this gnome sliding under the car.
Oh my god, I didn't even think about that. Just he just spops
He
it.
looks like was ran over. Are you proud of yourself?
Oh my goodness. Oh, that was good. What's the challenge mode? Wash against the clock or a water limit? No. No, thank you. I still have this, and I imagine doing this would...
Yeah, a lot more.
I imagine so, because that's what it's been doing consistently.
Yep. But I think for now...
call it there.
Yeah. I don't know what else we're going to do tonight, but we probably show these laid out.
Yeah.
There's a few things I probably need to pack, but I'll be up early enough. I'll get you up at a reasonable hour so you can finish packing, and we're running, like, even as I go grab the car, you'll still have a little bit more time to pack and whatnot.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Thank you all for sticking around while I rant, because the world is still a fucked up place. And yeah.
Sorry, I had nothing interesting to say.
Look, you're playing the game, and people come to the channel for you, right?
Sorry, I had nothing interesting to say, even though you all come to apparently see me. I am going to look for my song.
I don't imagine people come to the channel to listen to me rant, though. If someone comes to the channel to listen to me rant, I would be amazed.
Listen, I can go quiet for an hour while you talk, and nobody will say shit. So yes.
Like, I mean, even if half that time was real talk time, you lizard.
I'm sure it was fine.
I'm sure. Just
I still have chicken.
a little bit, yeah. It's a little cold, but I'm sure it's edible.
It's still edible. I just want to listen to this one song real quick. It's
Just
very
one 10-minute song.
Listen, do you realize how long it takes for us to close shit during stream?
It depends on how much in a rush we are. I mean, yes, there have been times where we literally have gone 45 minutes past when we said we had to finish up stream by.
Exactly. So, like, that's just time limit, I guess. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
So,
It'll stream. It'll
yeah.
probably stream on Tuesday. Probably Apex again. New map, new gun. Me raging more about not having my gun.
I mean, most likely. I fully expect that. I fully expect that for the entire season, honestly. Because there are going to be several points where we'll go for a care package and it won't have a G7. And you're going to do the thing again.
Yeah. It's going to be more amusing once you have a little Zoroku pick to go with it.
Yes.
Just Zoroku, you know. Just imagine, you know, the, you know, like the pop, you know, face, just you know, and me just you know complaining because I don't have my weapon of choice. And again, you know, the second we are like with rando, like something happens with randos, and a G7 drops, and the rando takes it, I am going to be absolute furious.
Oh no, absolutely. Which means that it's gonna make you want to do duels with me more.
Which you're happy for.
I mean, new season is starting off with duos anyway.
That's right. I'm sorry, A Hero. I know you've been long since in bed, probably. But also, we're sorry, Hero. I mean, we can always trade off who's the third wheel. Oh, I'm curious what the fuck that's gonna be about, honestly. Like, is it really just gonna be like a limited time takeover mode where you can only do duos?
I wonder if it's gonna take over ranked.
I don't think it's gonna take over ranked. Nothing has ever taken over ranked.
That's fair.
But I imagine, like, I can very much easily see them having a takeover. Like, instead of having the trios and duos option, just have the duos option with whatever else is supposed to go on. I mean, I wonder if that's the reason why at the end of the Escape trailer, the first one, they showed, you know, it's just Mirage following Ash.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're the duo. Which, I don't know. I wouldn't. That doesn't sound like a great time, to be fair.
I mean, Mirage himself is his own party.
My mind went to all the wrong places with that one.
That is not my fault.
Yes, it's not your fault. It's my fault because my mind, it insert Suroku horny bat .exe. Oh, so not get. Too bad Nifs is not around to do that for us. So
It's fine.
Nifs might be around to raid. I don't.
Has Myth been going for a while? I know that.
They're still alive.
Right.
I can't tell how long. Like, I know they traditionally do shorter streams, but like, still, at least.
They've been, from my understanding, doing shorter streams because of not feeling good.
Yeah, but hey, maybe they'll feel a little better with a raid, right? So I guess that's who we're raiding.
Yeah. I figured as much.
You want me to type it in so that because
No. No.
Oh, I just point out the fact that your hands are covered in tandoori chicken.
That's fine. I'm not gonna get it all over my mouse. I was gonna ask you for a napkin.
I can give you a hand towel. No, I can't give you a hand towel because there is no hand towels in here.
Which is why there should be like a napkin still on the table.
This one.
No. I'll take it, but no.
Like this one.
Yeah. But yes, I didn't feel like I had much to contribute to the conversation at all.
Yeah.
And I'm bad about, like, if anything comes to mind, that...
Interjecting.
Yeah.
I understand. No. To be fair, you never... I don't know if you've had to deal with zero tolerance policies in your lifetime, so... the worst part of school, the fact that you can get someone can go and throw a punch at you and you get in trouble, even if you don't throw a punch back.
The tolerance policies that I've endured have purely been work-based, where they said they had zero tolerance and they didn't do shit.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Like, we'll have a zero tolerance policy to sexism and discrimination and like,
the stuff that every company claims, and very few of them actually give a fuck about. They say it for good PR.
basically.
Anyway.
But it also makes it shitty.
Yeah.
Can I pass that to you for a second?
Yeah. Like, part of the thing I will need to do is like do dishes in the morning. Or tonight. Yeah. Or tonight.
I need to take a shower tonight, so
I'll probably take mine in the morning.
I definitely need one tonight, so.
Anyway, thank you all for coming to watch us play Apex, and whoever stayed around from Tom's raid, and listening to me rant.
Because I had nothing interesting to say.
You are interesting enough as is. Truly, you don't need to delve into these super long, depressing stories in order to be interesting. You could just spray water at a house for an hour, and people will watch it.
I mean, it was more of a listen, and it was more of a listen to you, and that's fine.
And even listening, you're interesting enough. Wow. I'm just teasing, you know that.
I know, just...
Go raid myths.
Don't worry about the slap. We're just slapping our hands together like high fives.
It's a thing.
We just do it in rapid succession.
Oh, come on,
man. Oh,
we were supposed to be rating you. Wait, are you rating us?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on anymore.
Wait, Miss, are we allowed to raid you? Because you're still going. Wait, why are you here?
Listen. You control myth.
You're BRB. Okay.
Is Myth so gonna go for a while then? Myth?
Well, we're going to pop on by to you, so ha.
Yeah.
We win.
You're here for your own raid. Deal with it.
Sunglasses and all.
I don't own sunglasses.
I have transitions, so I cheat.
Well, I have words, but it's fine. We'll be back on
the 2nd.
On the 2nd of November.
Yes, you can participate in raiding yourself.
I mean, yes, I believe so. So, I won't be back till Tuesday, which means no more, like, I won't be here for, like, Halloween and stuff, but that's fine. I'll still finish up Resident Evil 4 in November, along with other games that I want to be able to finish up before possibly starting new games and whatnot. And
I know Metroid Dread is eventually on the list.
Eventually. Like, everyone's been playing it right now, and I wanted to do other spooky things. It was originally going to be after Village, but if Carnes was still playing, it's just like, you know what, I'm just going to play 4.
Yeah. And then I finished it, and yeah. Anyway.
Have a good night, everyone.
And have a good Halloween.
And have a good Halloween. I will see you all next month. Bye.
Or in chat.
Maybe.